Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ingrown. I go by The Simple Pharmacist here on YouTube, and you can find me on my website, thesimplepharmacist.com, and that's pharmacist spelled with an F, not a PH. Okay, for today's video, it's gonna be a quick one, as always. This is just gonna talk about my experience using Pico laser for post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, which was caused by folliculitis. So as I mentioned in my previous video, not the previous video, but one of my previous videos, I have used both electrolysis and laser hair removal on a lot of places on my body to get rid of unwanted hair. And laser hair removal has been what I've been using recently for getting rid of hair on my legs. And the reason I went with laser hair removal versus electrolysis on my legs is because it's a large area, and I was able to get a Groupon just to treat all of it for about 12 treatments for a relatively cheap and good deal. And I have seen some improvement in the acne. It's not acne, it's folliculitis. It's when you have ingrown hairs and then they kind of become inflamed. And if you pick at them, they can leave a dark mark. For me, even if I don't pick at them, there's always a dark mark that's left behind. And I was looking for ways to kind of combat that and make my skin look a bit more smooth on the backs of my legs and all the way up to my butt. And I had researched some places and found that laser treatments, not laser hair removal, but actual skin lasers, the ablative and non-ablative lasers, could be helpful with reducing hyperpigmentation. They are also used to reduce lines and wrinkles, and some even treat melasma, and also are used for tattoo removal. I had gone to one place, which shall remain unnamed except on Yelp, where I left them a lengthy, terrible review. But essentially, this old dude had seen me, and I had shown him the part of my body I wanted to treat, mainly the back of my legs and my butt. And he had said, yeah, there's nothing we can do for you. Those are permanent. And I looked at him and I was like, well, the scars do fade. They just fade very, very slowly. So I want to expedite. I want to expedite this process. How can we do that? And the dude was just like, yeah, it's nothing we can do. Because you're dark skinned, we don't treat dark skinned patients, so it's gonna be a permanent thing. And I just looked at him and I was like, this is complete and total BS. So I went ahead and got a second opinion at a place just down the street from that, and it was a nice person of color, a woman, and she looked at it and she said there are several things that we can actually try to reduce this. Because she's seen it before, and she is someone who has treated people of different races and ethnicities and different skin types and skin tones and skin colors, and she actually had useful insight on some things that could be done. Luckily, she had the PicoSure laser, and PicoSure laser is primarily used for tattoo removal because it is a laser that targets pigment and kind of just gets rid of it. So they found that it was actually useful not just for treating tattoos or for removing tattoos, but also for treating hyperpigmentation, because it really just targets pigment and removes it. And it's actually one of the very, very, very few lasers that is safe to use on all skin types. So if you think about the CO2 laser or the erbium laser, I think it's called, those are ablative lasers, but they're not necessarily safe to use on someone with my skin type, and even someone who's lighter than me who is African American. There's just a lot of risk involved, particularly with post-inflammatory hypopigmentation, which is where you actually lose the pigment in your skin. So a lot of places, most places actually, are not going to treat you with those lasers if you are a person of a darker skin complexion. But the Pico laser is a great option because it actually is useful for treating people of darker skin types, and Africans and African Americans and people from Southeast Asia who are darker skinned. So I went to her and, we started treating the spots that I had on the back of my thighs and my butt. And I combined those treatments with alternating treatments of microneedling, which I will discuss in another video because I love microneedling, but it worked wonders. And I know I'm not the only one who struggles with folliculitis, especially if you are someone who sits down a lot for work or for school, and the hairs just become ingrown, and then it gets inflamed, and then it leaves little dots. So you kind of have those like strawberry legs. I think that for me, what has worked the best and what I would recommend to try is to do laser hair removal on those areas so it can actually get rid of the hair, and also or reduce the hair, minimize the hair. And also, if you are able to afford it, try Pico laser to get rid of those spots. And if you can, alternate it with microneedling, spaced weeks apart, of course, to actually speed up the healing process. The side effects of Pico laser that I found, it is a hot treatment. I have a high pain tolerance, so I didn't want to be numbed. I just wanted them to just do the cooling machine on me. But if you do want to be numbed, you can always ask for it. They can numb you for like 30 minutes and then go over the treatment area with the laser. What you will find is that you will have dark streaks on the areas that are treated. I'm not showing pictures because, again, remember I treated the back of my thighs and my butt, and I'm just not comfortable sharing those areas of my body on the internet. But you will have dark streaks, like lines, on the areas that the laser goes over, and that's normal. If you were a person of Caucasian descent, or if you had very pale skin, you will have red streaks on those areas that were treated, because that's just how it works. It's just post-treatment hyperpigmentation, but it fades away. And how I found it to fade away faster is when I did microneedling on top of that a few weeks later, and it actually made the lines and the streaks fade away even faster. So that's just something to keep in mind as far as side effects goes. With regards to cost, it is not a cheap treatment. I think the cheapest place I found was charging $300 here in Southern California for a small area of treatment. The area I was treating was not small by any means, and I only did 2 treatments of it, and each one cost, I think, about $600. But the difference was like, I would say a 95% decrease in the spots, like almost completely, totally gone. If I went back and did 3 or 4 more treatments, my backside would look like a baby's bottom, as with the back of my thighs. But I choose to put my money into other avenues, so that's why I'm not doing that at this moment. But when I do achieve financial independence, I'm probably going to go back and just do a whole treatment all over wherever I see any kind of hyperpigmentation, just because I think it works so well for me. And I would recommend that if it is something that really bothers you, and if you can afford to do it without setting yourself back financially, I think it's a great plan. So once again, Pico laser, contact a dermatologist's office or an esthetician clinic with a medical director that can look over your skin, look over your hyperpigmentation spots and spots from folliculitis from inflammation, and see if they are able to do a trial treatment, see how your skin responds, and hopefully you can find someone who is able to actually do those treatments and do it well for you. Okay, that's it. If you want to read about this, if you're more of a reader than a watcher, then just check out my blog, thesimplepharmacist.com. I always write an article for every video I upload. Thank you, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.